Welcome into this edition of the Monday Manna. We want to take you to Matthew chapter 16 today as we look to the word of the Lord on this Monday, March the 30th, and I appreciate you joining us from home today. I know many of us have been quarantined for a while, and now we are home, and we're looking to devotionals like this to keep us encouraged. I want to look to this today, Matthew 16 and verses 13 through 20. When Jesus came to the region of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, "Who do people say the Son of Man is?" They replied, "Some say John the Baptist, and others say Elijah, and still others Jeremiah or one of the prophets. But what about you?" he asked. "Who do you say that I am?" Simon Peter answered, "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God." Jesus replied, "Blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, for this was not revealed to you by flesh and blood, but by my Father in heaven. And I tell you that you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not overcome it. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. Whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven." And then he ordered the disciples not to tell anyone that he was the Messiah. The place where Jesus questioned his disciples about his deity, Caesarea Philippi, it's very significant. It is located at the base of Mount Hermon, some 25 miles north of Capernaum. It is a center of idolatry. It was dedicated to the worship of idols, including Baal, the Canaanite fertility god of storm and rain, Pan, the Greek god of the forest, and the emperor Augustus Caesar. Jesus first asked his disciples what others were saying about him. Then he makes it personal by directing his question to his own disciples. "Who do you say that I am?" To the world, Jesus was merely a great man like John the Baptist or Elijah or Jeremiah, but he wasn't God. Yet Jesus spoke of himself as the Son of Man, an exalted messianic title used exclusively to refer to himself in Matthew 9, 12, 13, 19, chapters 24, 26. Also Luke 21 records this. And so it's very important to remember where it is that he asks this question. Jackson had dreamed of becoming a U.S. Navy SEAL from early childhood. This was an ambition of his that led to years of physical discipline and self-sacrifice. I look back at Jackson's story. He eventually faced some grueling tests of strength and endurance, including what's referred to by trainees as Hell Week. Jackson was physically unable to complete the exhaustive training, and he reluctantly rang a bell to inform the commander and other trainees of his choice to leave the program. For most, this would feel like a failure, but in spite of the extreme disappointment, Jackson was later able to see his military failure was a preparation for the work that he would do in his life. The Apostle Peter experienced his own form of failure. He boldly proclaimed that he would remain loyal to Jesus even to prison and to death. Yet later he wept bitterly after he denied that he even knew Jesus Christ. But God had plans beyond his failure. Prior to Peter's denial, Jesus informed him, "I tell you that you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not overcome it." So I ask you today, are you struggling with a failure causing you to feel unworthy or unqualified to move on? Can I tell you also today that you do not need to allow the ringing of the bell of failure to cause you to miss the greater purpose that God has for your life? What did you view as a failure in your life that God can even use to help you grow in Him? You know what? Not all mistakes are bad. You know, some mistakes I learned from them, and I probably wouldn't have learned those lessons had I not made those mistakes. I ask you the question today, why is it vital for us to find our identity in how God views us? Can I give you a quick answer to that? The reason is when you fail, then you don't feel like it's final. So in this short devotional today, Monday Manna, March the 30th, I'm encouraging you, do not allow the bell of your failure to make you miss what God's trying to do in your life and the things that God's trying to teach you. Let it be an encouragement to you. Oh God, help us to use every circumstance, even my failures, for your glory and your honor. This Monday Manna is brought to you by Harvest Church. I'm Pastor Seth Wilkerson. Would like to invite you to join us online. Right now, we're only doing online services. However, we are excited to bring you some new things that are happening this coming week. On Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, there's something for children on our church Facebook page. On Sunday mornings at 10 a.m., there's a live worship service. Sunday night at 6 p.m., there are evening Bible study times. And then on Wednesday night, there is Bible study as well at 7 p.m. Make plans to join us, and we hope you and yours are staying safe.